You've eaten really well, you've slept just fine, but you wake up feeling really exhausted. If you're on your weight loss journey on Mounjaro and Wegovy, it's quite tempting to think that it's because of the injections that you feel like that. I'm Zeinab, I'm the pharmacist from PillSorted, and I'll explain 8 different medical causes that can bring tiredness and how does your weight loss journey and the Mounjaro and Wegovy GLP injections affect all of them. First, let me start by explaining what does tiredness mean, because it can mean different things for different people. For example, one way that people say I'm feeling really tired is actually being very sleepy, and in that they mean they don't feel rested when they wake up, they nod off throughout the day without even wanting to, and they feel really drowsy. The other one is actual fatigue. So by fatigue I mean you feel a really heavy, drained feeling that despite resting you don't feel you've got any energy, so you feel really exhausted. And these could link to things like thyroid, there can be other chronic illnesses and hormonal changes. The other one is reduced exercise. So if you used to be able to do something but now you can't do them, so for example going up the stairs without feeling breathless, or doing a little bit more running and walking, but now you see that you have to slow down, that's a different kind of tiredness. It might be more related to your lungs and your heart health. Why is it so important? Because tiredness is one of the top 10 reasons that people come and visit a healthcare professional, see their doctors. So tiredness is an important symptom. When you have that in mind, what is the tiredness, the underlying feeling of tiredness? Is it more about breathlessness? Is it more about sleepiness? Is it more that you just feel totally exhausted? Then it's easier to find out what are the underlying causes for them. So now I'm going to go through 8 different medical reasons and how do we treat them, how does your weight affect them. The first one that I want to talk about is actual nutrient deficiencies. This is one of the most common ones, and the 4 most important nutrients that can bring about tiredness if there's not enough of them. One's iron, folate, B12, vitamin D. I will cover all of these separately in separate videos dedicated to each of them, but these can come up quite fast and they're really important. For example, women need a lot of iron. They can become iron deficient pretty fast. The same with the folate and vitamin D and the B12. Each of them can be accompanied by different symptoms as well. How does the GLP and your weight loss affect it? The most important thing is when you're not eating enough, that means you won't be getting enough nutrients to replenish what your body needs to be able to function properly. So that's why weight loss can bring up the tiredness, and the good thing is treating it is quite simple. First step would be doing a blood test, seeing what the blood levels are for all of these nutrients, and then there are plenty of supplements to help replenish the amount that our body needs. What's the second common reason for tiredness? That's thyroid problems. So I have covered thyroid problems in previous 2 videos as well. It is a very interesting organ in our body that actually manages the speed of all of our metabolic functions. So one of the things that happens is that it can slow down, and it's called hypothyroidism, and it can bring tiredness, constipation, and a couple of other symptoms. So it's an important one to check, especially if it has been family history of autoimmune diseases or thyroid problems, to have that checked. Hypothyroidism can cause weight gain. That's the link to your weight. GLP medicines are quite sensitive to weight, so it's important to get your blood test checked. What's the thyroid levels when you start, and when you lose significant amount of weight, to have it checked again as well. The third cause is actually sleep apnea. There's a video about sleep apnea as well, but what it is like you keep waking up in the middle of your sleep. So it means that you stop breathing for just seconds or minutes, but that is enough to make you wake up and have to take a bigger deep breath. So there are lots of different reasons why the sleep apnea happens, but weight is one of the factors that can affect sleep apnea and make it worse or bring it up. So losing weight is an important way to reduce this sleeping problem, and especially the GLP injections will help you lose weight so that you can have a better night's sleep. Now, the fourth important reason is actually blood sugar control and diabetes. So that tiredness is one of the symptoms of diabetes, accompanied with feeling really thirsty, having to go to the toilet quite a lot, sometimes blurry vision. And it's interesting that losing weight is one of the most important ways to be able to control your sugar levels, but the GLP medications have been prescribed to support with getting the glucose levels under control, but also losing weight, and using the GLPs has got a good effect on your HbA1c levels. There's a lot of patients that come around that have been diagnosed with pre-diabetic. So when it's pre-diabetic version, we want to be able to control it with lifestyle changes, and losing weight is one of the important ones. So GLPs come into effect this in pre-diabetic stage a lot, and they really help support people get back into the standard, into a healthy weight range. And the fifth reason is actually heart or lung problems. So if someone comes and says, I can't go up the stairs without running out of breath, or just the normal walking makes me my heart thump really hard, those are the times that we'll start checking for, lung issues and heart issues. So for example, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, COPD, is one of the reasons that can make you really tired. The same with any heart problem. They can leave you feeling really exhausted, feeling really cold. How does weight loss affect it? Being heavier does put more strain on your heart and your lungs, okay? So that's the important thing to consider. That's why when you lose weight, it will have that benefit on supporting your long-term cardiovascular health and making breathing and exercising and mobility much easier. And in that context, the GLPs can support you. So the sixth cause is actually some medication. So there are, in the patient information leaflets of medications, it's clear says may cause drowsiness. So they can bring up tiredness, they can bring up drowsiness. So antihistamines are one of them. Set of pain reliefs like the codeine base, they can bring a sleepiness as well as other medications like the gabapentin family, and some of the blood pressure medications. These can cause you feeling tired and exhausted, okay? It doesn't mean that you can come off them, but it's important to be aware that this can be effect of your medicine. Antidepressants as well, they can cause this. So it's really important to be mindful that if you feel really tired, you need to talk about it. There might be better alternatives for you. So we need to be able to manage and find the right balance. Now the seventh one is actually low mood, feeling anxious, feeling depressed, and even burnout. So these can affect you feeling tired. Your mental state has a huge effect on your physical state. It can show itself in different ways, but one of the most common ways that it shows is just feeling out of energy and exhausted to do anything. And it can affect your sleep, it can affect your concentration. It's really important to be able to talk about these if you feel that you can't enjoy anything going on in your life. Those are important symptoms that you need to talk about, and we can support you with the right both medications and lifestyle changes. How does weight loss affect it? So when you're losing weight, there's a huge amount of changes happening in your body, okay? So sometimes your brain takes a lot longer to accept and adjust to the fantastic work that you've done on your body. So when you've lost a lot of weight, your brain still sees yourself as overweight. Plus, if you're not getting enough of the nutrients, that can cause you really tired and exhausted as well. So it's really important to do a healthy, balanced nutrition diet and think of this as a sustained, gradual weight loss that can support you feel better when you see yourself, when you can do more, when you can feel more energized. The last one is actually post-viral. So some viruses like long COVID, like influenza, and a couple of other viral illnesses can leave you with a chronic fatigue for after that. So, and usually how that tiredness shows is when you've had a busy time. So if it's like a physical busy time or even a mental busy time, within a couple of hours or maybe a day after, you feel totally tired and burned out and exhausted, okay? So that is one of the effects of the long COVID. And it's really important to be able to pace yourself so that you can plan the ways that you know your limits but it will get better. It's just that it's important to be mindful. You might not have the same energy levels as you had before. When you are overweight and obese, that tiredness comes from loads of different directions. You might not get a good sleep, you can't move properly, you have a lot of inflammatory markers that cause a lot of pain in your body, which can affect your mood. So all of these give hand in hand that you feel even more tired and exhausted. When you're trying to lose weight, it's really important to be mindful and pace yourself. So one of the biggest things that I see is that we're always in a rush. So we want to lose like 2 stones in a month. We want to lose, and then we might get disappointed if that doesn't happen. However, it's really important to pace yourself and think about that healthy nutrition based and slow and gradual weight loss. So with the GLPs as well, it's super important to keep up with your hydration and your high protein, and you will gradually see that effect in being able to sleep better, move better, and feel generally a bit more energized, because your body doesn't have to move a lot more weight again. When is it not normal? If you've done all of your checks, thyroid levels are good, nutrition levels are all great, but you still feel tired after a 6 to 8 weeks period, or if it's getting worse and it's got symptoms like feeling out of breath or irregular heartbeats, any changes in your toilet patterns, going to the loo quite often or getting too constipated, those are important things to get checked out. Okay, as a recap, these are the 8 most important reasons that can cause you feeling tired. Take it seriously. Please get yourself checked. Most of them have got easy ways to be diagnosed and treated. If you've got any questions about what are the next steps to do, feel free to reach out to us and subscribe to this channel. We've got a lot of good advice about what to do in different cases, especially on your weight loss journey. Thank you.